I took the Jazz in 7, Skip. I believe the Jazz is going to win game 1, but the Jazz have been out for a long time, and the Clippers are in a rhythm now. They played really well the last 2 games, and they're kind of used to playing. They played, Friday night, then played again Sunday, and here they are playing again on Tuesday. Sometimes what we've seen in the past, Skip, teams that have long layoffs come out a little lackadaisical. The team that's been playing, that's on a hot streak, they come in and jumps on them and steal game 1. That could possibly happen, but I'm going to take the Jazz in game 1 in a close ball game. Donovan Mitchell seems to be 100%. Averaged 28.5, 6 assists against Memphis, 30 and 10 in the closeout game. And the one thing they can do, Skip, they're going to get up threes, and they normally make a bunch of them. I don't believe that the Clippers can hope to have the success that they're going to, in this series that they had in the last series, by Utah missing threes, because Bogdan can make them. Ingles can make them. They got a bunch of guys. Clarkson comes off the bench, he lights you up. Royce O'Neal can make shots. They've got a lot of guys that can make shots. They got a big guy in the stifle tie, Rudy Gobert, that's going to man the paint, who's a lot more a defensive presence than Boban and Porzingis was. So with that being said, I'm gonna take the Jazz in a 7-game series. I think it'll be hard fought. Kawhi and PG is going to need to play really, really well. But can they get the kind of support they got in game 6 and 7 from their role players, the Marcus Morris Seniors, the Reggie Jacksons, those guys, the Batum, Terrence Mann, can they come in and contribute? Because we've seen all year long the role players from Utah be exquisite in their roles. And so I'm going to take them in 7 games. I'm going to say the Jazz win in 7.
Okay. I'm going to start by telling you all the reasons why Utah should do what you say that Utah will do. I'm going to start off with this. Not only do they shoot threes at a high rate, they made the most threes per game in the history of this league. The Utah Jazz make 16.7 threes a game. Off the charts.
Yeah, it is.
Meanwhile, the Clippers led the league in percentage of makes because the Clippers shot 41.1%, but they made 14.3 a game to 16.7 for the Jazz.
Right.
Wow. Now, the Jazz shoot 38.9% from 3, which is still really good, especially because you jack up more, but you're not jacking them up, you're making them.
Right.
Okay, so remember, Utah finished 3rd in offensive efficiency and 3rd in defensive efficiency. That'll work, right? That's a recipe for number 1 seed, right? And not only that, but the Utah Jazz led the NBA in rebounding. What's the Pat Riley Memorial expression? No rebounds, no rings. Well, they got all the rebounds. They lead. And then not only do they have a Donovan Mitchell, who I have nothing but respect for, who is an extraordinary, explosive, young scorer, who can score with anybody in bunches. He can get as hot as anybody in the league for stretches, right? But they have the 6th man of the year coming off the bench, a former Laker, Jordan Clarkson, who can light it up just the way Donovan can light it up in stretches and bunches, right?
And that's his role. He come in and get as many shots. Skip, remember he took 38 shots a couple, 2 games, last week of the season. He got 42. But when do you ever see a bench player come in and get 38 shots up?
Greenest light of any bench player this side of Vinny the Microwave Johnson, right? Coming off the bench for the bad boy Pistons. And then you mentioned him. Bogdanovich is as cold-blooded a three-point shooter as you will ever see. He will shoot you in the heart if given the opportunities.
Don't sleep on Ingles.
And Ingles, who was the runner-up 6th man of the year, right? Okay. And we didn't mention the defensive player of the year in Stifle Tower, who can still get you 14 points a game, and he's going to block 4 or 5 shots a game. It's just what he does. Okay, that's all a recipe for this is going to be hard. So why are the Clippers, my Clippers, a 4.5-point underdog tonight at Utah in game 1? It's because of everything I just said. The odds makers are saying, no, this team is a little better than that team. What was happening throughout the Dallas series? The Clippers were favored every game. Even after they blew the first 2 home games, they go to Dallas on that Friday night for game 3, and they're a 3-point favorite. And then they turned right around in game 5, and they were a 3-point favorite again, right? So they stayed favored the whole way through. And now they're a 4.5-point dog, game 1 at Utah. So it's showing you, be careful, be careful, be careful. And I am careful, but I also know I got one thing they don't have. I got Kawhi Leonard,
right,
and he's going to be the best player on the floor. It's hard for me to believe he'll be that tonight because I think this team is going to be running or maybe trotting on fumes tonight. Listen, Kawhi took it up to Jordan-esque levels in games 6 and 7.
He was special. He was special.
You know, and I know he invented load management with a little help from Greg Popovich. So it's not that he's going to miss the game tonight. I just don't know if he's got it in him to sustain that level of commitment on offense and defense that we saw against Luka.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, you might, if I'm them, I might start Paul George on Donovan Mitchell because he's not as big as Luka. So that poses a whole different type of problem. Paul George has a decided height advantage, weight advantage over Donovan Mitchell. So I'm going to save some of that. But I think the thing is, the difference is, although I don't believe Donovan Mitchell is the equivalent player of Luka, I believe Donovan Mitchell, other players, the Bogdanovich, the Ingles, the Rudy Goberts, his supporting cast is better than Luka's. And so I believe that is the advantage that the Utah Jazz have over the Clippers.
So I'm going to once again hang my hat on what Jeff Van Gundy said several times during the Clippers-Dallas series, and that is the most talented team in the West is the Los Angeles Clippers. Top to bottom, most talented. They're the deepest, and I believe they should win this series just on pure talent and depth and coaching. Ty Lue is special, man.
Oh, he can coach. I like Ty Lue.
And again, we talked about it yesterday. He was the architect from you guys coming from 3-1 down, and from these guys coming from 0-2 down and 30-11 down in this series against Dallas.
I think the thing is, Skip, Quinn Snyder learned after that first game in which Ja Morant got 47.
They didn't have Donovan.
They didn't have Donovan. But Skip, what he said, you know what? I'm not finna let this guy beat me. I'm finna blitz him. I'm finna trap him. I'm finna get the ball out of his hand.
Okay.
I'm gonna make somebody else beat me. So if Paul George, you go get 45. Okay, auxiliary guys, you go get 30. I'm just not, because I know what Kawhi can do. I've seen Kawhi do it for Toronto for the entire of a playoff run. I know he can average 30 and hurt me. I'm going to see if one of you other guys, because Skip, you remember last time Paul George played Utah, he would like to forget that.
I know. I got it. But that was Oklahoma City days. That was Russell Westbrook days. And by the way, in that, it was a closeout game.
Game 5.
Russell versus Donovan was just...
Russell
they went
44.
back and forth, and it was spectacular.
Right.
It was must-see TV, except for PG, who went pandemic P pre-pandemic. Right?
And that's the thing with the young guys, Skip. These young guys are more. It might be a playoff game, but they'll go mano and mano. You saw Ja Morant going one-on-one with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan said, "Okay, you did that. Okay, come and give me that rock. Let me get back at it." Jason Tatum going one-on-one with KD. KD like, bro, hold on now, wait a minute now. You know I'm still KD here. I like that, to have a game within a game. I don't think we see that enough. The old guard used to, give me that ball back. Let me go back at it. Like Magic was said in the Olympics when they was going ready. Okay, Charles, don't you let Mailman do you like that. Go at it.
Okay. So does Kawhi have, quote unquote, enough help after I detailed all the help that Donovan Mitchell have? Okay. Who is his 1A, his co-star? Is PG.
Yeah.
Okay, look at the numbers Paul George put up against Dallas. Again, he had stretches where he stunk. He had stretches where he was their Achilles heel. And yet, look at the overall numbers. Help me out. 24 points a game for 7 games. 9 rebounds for 7 games and 6 assists. 24, 9, and 6. Will that work?
Yeah. That's probably about what his regular season was, Skip. But Paul George realized, say, you know what? I got to be able to do other things other than score to help my team. I go get you 13 rebounds.
But
I get you 10 assists.
24, 9, and 6 in the playoffs. Does that grow on L.A. palm trees?
No.
It does not.
No.
He is a gifted basketball player who's not the toughest mentally. We know that. But if you put him in the right spots to do what he does, which is maybe make 10 of 10 free throws, as he did in Game 7. He made all 10. That'll work, right? Because from the free throw line, he's 90%. So he can do that part of it, right? And yet from 3, so far through the playoffs in the 7 games, he's 31%. He's 15 of 49. Well, there's stretches even the other day in Game 7. He went 1 for 9 from the floor in the second half.
But Skip, he can get hot. He can get hot from 3. I mean, because we saw him Christmas what he did to the Lakers. He had 7 points at the half. He ended with 33. So that 26 came in the second half, and he got hot from three. He started stepping back, and then now you got to pull up on him, and he got the mid-range game. He can get all the way to the rim. Yeah. But like you said, he's in a perfect role.
He is.
Kawhi is the top guy. Okay, I'm cool with this right here.
Yep.
I don't need no movie lines. Just let me do my thing.
Marcus Morris is a veteran baller. He made 7 of 9 threes in a Game 7. That will work.
The two biggest games of his life, Game 3 and Game 7.
You got it. And Reggie Jackson drives me crazy and will take another couple of years off my life, but he can shoot the lights out when he gets going.
He ain't afraid of no moments.
And he will take and make huge clutch shots.
Yep.
Where you close your eyes, no, yes.
Right.
And they got a deep lineup because they can keep bringing people off the bench, as you know, and that Terrence Mann is coming alive as a basketball player.
You might see some boogie, because I don't know if
and you're going to see some big zoo that they had to make him defunct, because once Dallas went huge and played zone, they went small.
Right.
Beautiful by Ty Lue.
Right, because you got to have somebody that can shoot the ball.
Yep.
Stretch the floor. And Derek Favors, Skip. Derek Favors has bounced around, but hey, he get on the board. He can defend.
I got it.
And that's part of it, Skip. You're right. They defend at a very high level.
Okay, so bottom line, I'm saying
you like Clippers in Game 1?
I do not like the Clippers. On fumes. They won't be even running on fumes. They'll be trotting on fumes. And yet, I kind of like them in Game 2. I got to see how Game 1 goes. And I definitely like them in 6. I got Clippers in 6. Bring on the Suns in the conference finals.
Nice.
Yep.
Jazz.
Thank you.
I like all that jazz. I like all that jazz.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.